This is me, New Year's Eve 1999, hopped up on Shirley Temples, waving at my uncle's camcorder like a little maniac. But behind this wholesome family moment, I heard a lot of the adults whispering about
Y2K.
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 Will the Y2K computer bug bring about Armageddon?
Flashlights, batteries, sleeping bags were flying off the shelves.
The end of the world as we know it.
I remember thinking, why are we here if the world is supposed to end? It introduced me to a thought I think we've all had. If things really fell apart, what would we even do? What's the plan? Y2K reintroduced a Cold War era prepping mindset to a lot of people. But prepping was still looked at as something for the fringe. It was niche, conspiratorial, DIY, kind of a punchline.
We are facing a communist overthrow.
Fast forward to today, and we've been through a lot. Today, 1 in 3 Americans are prepping for some kind of disaster or apocalypse, which has fueled what is now an $11 billion industry. I spent a lot of time in the different prepping subreddits, discords, and blogs to learn about the community and their mindset that's really driving this industry. There's a product for almost every imaginable scenario, from relatively affordable basics all the way to this. And you're saying that there's a bunker behind this?
Yeah.
How much does that bunker go for?
This one's about $600,000-700,000. We build bunkers for when the whole world falls apart. Bill Gates has 11 bunkers. He put one at every property he has.
Basically, I want to know, and 8-year-old me definitely wants to know. What would I need, and how much would it cost me to survive the apocalypse?
Yeah, when you're starting off, you definitely want to keep preparedness simple. A lot of people just gravitate towards guns and ammo, but the focus should be on water, food, and electricity.
All of these products fall between $0 and $100. For water, there are things like these 60-gallon bladders, water purification tablets, and personal water filters like this Life Straw. God damn. You know when your vape is clogged? For food, I can of course buy big bags of rice, beans, grains, or other foods with a long shelf life, but we're sticking to products made specifically for disaster preparedness. And that means emergency food buckets. Okay, I feel entirely misled by ReadyWise and the marketing of this food bucket. The packaging says just add water. Bring to a boil, stirring often, and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. So let's look at this through the lens of a apocalypse. How am I boiling water for 15 to 20 minutes? Now I have to build a fire in my backyard? I think this is the perfect example of misleading marketing in the doomsday prepping industry. This is what we're living off of during the apocalypse. Powdered milk, orange drink mix, and vanilla pudding. ReadyWise, count your days, motherfuckers. Outside of food and water, there are a few other basic prep items you'll find in this price range. A solar rechargeable flashlight, an emergency radio with NOAA weather alerts, there's a reusable respirator, and a magnesium fire starter. So far, this is how much I've spent. There are also survival kits you can buy in this $0 to $100 price range. This one has a lot of the things we just went through, with some additional stuff. It's a good amount of stuff for $41.99, but the quality doesn't necessarily feel that great. Anyway, it turns out the stuff in this tier sells incredibly well. And since Ready.gov says I should have a 72-hour kit at home, and a 24-hour kit at work, and a kit in my car, you can already see how all of this ends up costing a pretty penny for someone who becomes obsessed with prepping. And we're at the low price tier. Overall, Scott feels most of these products are
worth having for sure.
Does spending more money increase my odds of survival?
It depends on what you mean by more money.
So now we're looking at anything up to $5,000. With food, the cost scales depending on how long you're trying to be covered and how many people you need to feed. This site even has a bundle that gets us in the next price tier. For water, we start looking at larger scale and more sophisticated water filtration products. There are also larger water storage products. To communicate and stay informed, you can look at ham radios or satellite phones. Another category of products in this tier that you'll see a lot of sites selling is backup power.
We're so dependent on electrical, and the grid is kind of fragile. Most people don't do well after a few days without electricity.
A company called Jackery makes a ton of different power stations, generators, battery packs, and solar panels to recharge them all. In this tier, you'll also find a big market for higher-end 72-hour survival kits. beautifully organized, I'll tell you that much. This is a multi-tool. First aid core. Air filtration mask. Is this another shovel? I don't know, I feel like buying some of these things individually might make more sense than dropping $229 on this kit. When I bring up my 72-hour kit to Scott, it becomes clear that I'm thinking like a beginner, just gravitating towards a simple one-size-fits-all solution that's been really well packaged and marketed.
I do not like the pre-made kits. I think people should build their own. I believe the 72 hours is a few years ago. It's really a week. Recently in our area, Hurricane Helene came through and just wiped a lot of people out. FEMA couldn't put a dent in it.
Once you start spending more than $5,000, things start to get a little hazy. And not like, oh shit, go get the gas masks hazy. Hazy as in parts of the industry get hard to read. Let me show you. A whole house generator, for example. Drive through suburbia and you'll see a lot of houses with them. Installing a Generac on your house could easily run you 15 grand. Or whole house water filtration. Something like a Culligan system could easily run you up to 10 grand. Depending on where you live, you could install motorized hurricane shutters or impact-resistant windows. If you're somewhere prone to flooding, you could have floodgates or even a custom-engineered seawall if you live by a body of water and have the dough. If you live somewhere with wildfires, you could get ember-resistant vents, fire-resistant siding, or roof shingles. If you're somewhere with earthquakes, you could get a seismic retrofit for your house or a base isolation system, which could really cost you a pretty penny. All of this stuff would increase the value of your home, and some of it could even reduce your insurance premiums. So some of the prepping in this tier blends right into home improvement or fortifying your home. But if we're talking about the worst case scenario, end of days, the collapse of normal day-to-day life, the prepping subreddits refer to this as shit if hits the fan, or Teotwaki, the end of the world as we know it. In that situation, most of these things wouldn't necessarily be helpful. A whole house generator is tied to propane or natural gas. In an apocalypse, you'll eventually run out of fuel. So you have to buy bigger and more robust solar and battery systems than we saw in the previous tier. And your local water treatment facility isn't going to be up and running, so your whole house water filtration system is going to be useless. If you're prepping at this level, you probably have very little trust left in the government, infrastructure, or even your neighbors. And that can send you even further down the rabbit hole to the point where you want to isolate. I've read that Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Mark Andreessen, Steve Huffman, and Reid Hoffman all allegedly have doomsday bunkers, which definitely pushes us to the next price tier. These days, digital preparedness can be just as important as physical. A lot of emergencies don't start with explosions, they start with a keyboard. Water treatment facilities, hospitals, and even local governments have all been hit by cyber attacks, which is where today's sponsor, NordVPN, comes in. It's a simple way to protect your online activity. It encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address, making it much harder for trackers, malicious sites, or hackers to target you or collect your data. The digital security is great, but honestly, the thing I use NordVPN most often for is access, like trying to watch a Yankee game in the tri-state area without hitting a blackout restriction. NordVPN has thousands of servers around the world, so you can see what the internet looks like from almost anywhere with just one click. They also have a feature that automatically scans downloads, blocks sketchy ads, and protects your data even when you're not connected to a VPN server. And one account works on up to 10 devices. NordVPN is just one of those tools that makes the internet better and safer. Go to nordvpn.com/morningbrew and you'll get the best deal they offer. A 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months. And no sweat, because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/morningbrew, or click the link in the description. Okay, back to prepping for the apocalypse. If you Google Doomsday Bunker, the top result is, and so that's where we are right now. We're at Atlas Survival Shelters in Sulphur Springs, Texas to meet Ron Hubbard. These bunkers can range anywhere from $25,000 up to $25 million. The question I have is, what are these bunkers protecting me from that the lower cost products weren't? We're gonna go find out. Ron, pleasure to meet you finally. I'm James.
Yeah, hey.
Good to meet you. What's that for?
I'm gonna have my own line of swords. It's a zombie sword for chopping your way out through zombies. What I'm selling is a feeling that you are gonna be a survivor. Imagine being on the Titanic and you know that one boat is designated for you and your family.
What types of events would these bunkers protect you from?
We emphasize that our bunkers are built to be NBC proof, which means nuclear, biological, and chemical. So you could go in there for any reason, including tornadoes, hurricanes, or even a civil unrest or people driving around trying to shoot holes into your house.
And now it was time to go see one.
A builder is building 86 houses. He's decided every single house will automatically have a movie theater in it that will also be a bomb shelter.
Ron's bunkers have become popular because they're dual use. Everyday luxury on the surface, doomsday bunker when shit hits the fan.
Let's go.
Okay, so Ron had told me we were gonna see a finished $700,000 bunker, but unfortunately, that's not the case. He brought me to a new construction though, that's apparently gonna sell for $1.6 million. And part of this construction, right by that dirt mound over there, is a $700,000 underground luxury doomsday bunker. Let's go check it out.
Now remember, I'm gonna give you footage of a finished one that you can edit it in, okay? This one's got 9-foot ceilings. This is the stage that will go back in that corner. This is a gun cabinet. It's a remote control gun cabinet. This will come down. It's got a roll shutter. So this is a bunker man cave movie theater. This is the escape tunnel. This way, if the person in the bunker feels like they're worried about being trapped in the bunker, it gives them a secondary means of egress. What we have here is a full kitchen. You got room for a full-size fridge. You got granite counters, stainless steel microwave, stainless steel sink, plenty of cupboards and overhead shelving. Okay, so this is the one and only bedroom in here. There will be the NBC air filtration system will be mounted in this room. There's also a closet with access to the plumbing and all the water tanks.
Custom-built bunkers like the one we just saw is only one part of Ron's business. He also sells prefab bunkers that are made at his headquarters and then installed on site.
Okay, this is a 72,000 square foot factory that does all the welding, fabrication, finishes out the interiors of the bomb shelters.
All right, this is a prefabbed bunker here at the Atlas facility. Not too bad. How would you describe your customer?
I get a lot of people that are 55, 60 years old. They just sold their company. They want to buy a ranch in Texas, and they want to have a secret bunker with a secret passage. Whoever's sitting in the White House affects the sales. So Trump is absolutely horrible for business because the customers that buy the bunkers, a lot of them are Trump supporters, and they feel safe with Trump in office.
And he's not afraid to name drop.
For Zuckerberg, for an example, it's not really any bigger than what I'm doing for the Tate brothers right now. I'm building them a 2,300 square foot bunker in Romania. I just sold a bunker to one of Trump's right-hand people. I did 2 bunkers for one of his cabinet members 6 months ago.
Throughout this time that I've been here today, Ron's phone has been ringing off the hook. So clearly he's very busy.
Yeah, hello? Hello? Atlas is Ron. We make bomb shelters. You go down there and make love in it? Yeah, Atlas is Ron. But what I'm going to show you here is my magnets. Last year I did 340 days in hotels. So it means I spent 25 nights in my own bed. But that is what the job calls for. So my clients call, I travel.
Overall, this is a very impressive business that Ron has built. He might be a little out there, but whatever he's doing is working. Beyond bunkers, there are a slew of other very expensive doomsday solutions in this price tier. High security compounds, remote land with airstrips, armored vehicles, $25 million bunker memberships. There's a company called Safe that engineers some of the most impressive stuff you'll see in this space. Like a fortress in America that has a moat with cannons that can shoot flammable liquid onto the moat to light it on fire. The compound has multiple tunnels leading in and out, and one of them can be activated to basically act like a giant microwave. Wild stuff. All right, well, that's the end of the day with Ron, and that was quite the experience. Let's just say I'm not surprised the guy that's the king of luxury doomsday bunkers operates the way he does. It's hard for me to say what my takeaways are. I'm kind of torn, to be honest. Obviously, Ron makes a compelling case for bunkers, but Scott sees things differently.
I'm not a pro bunker guy unless they are for tornado shelters. They require constant attention, maintenance, intervention. Bunkers are easy to disable as well. If somebody finds your bunker, you're not getting out of it. They're not where you should spend your money when it comes to preparedness.
So why do you think people buy them and spend ridiculous amounts of money on them?
Because they have ridiculous amounts of money to begin with. You've opened up a big can of worms here, James.
So to bring it back to my core question, how much do you think it would realistically cost me to survive the apocalypse?
About $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't think I could throw a dollar amount at surviving the apocalypse. So let's come up with a realistic scenario on how much it would cost to mitigate against that. Can we do that?
My follow-up was, is that even a fair question?
Okay. I do believe that you should prepare, that everybody should prepare for the scenarios that you've already seen happen in your life, the likely scenarios.
So it looks like no amount of money will truly save me or you in an apocalypse or doomsday scenario. It might buy you time, it might make things a little more comfortable, but there's no product, bunker, or system that guarantees survival when everything completely falls apart. If I got everything I wanted plus a bunker, this is how much I would have spent. Overall, I think the industry has seen so much growth because there's been a convergence of disaster preparedness and doomsday prepping. Disaster preparedness is backed by governments, insurers, and utilities. It's boring, practical. Doomsday prepping has always been culturally fringe. It's individualized. But climate disasters are more frequent, power grids are less reliable, insurance is retreating in certain areas, the pandemic was a wake-up call, and governments are increasingly telling people to be more self-sufficient in an emergency. Now there's a middle ground made up of average people like you and I who don't want to rely entirely on institutions, but still want to be prepared for when something goes wrong. How far someone goes and how much they're willing to spend is defined by how likely they think that disaster they're prepping for is, or how paranoid they are about it, if it's more on the extreme side. And yes, there are definitely companies and products that take advantage of escalating fear and paranoia. Like I said before, we have been through a lot, and we're all just a little bit more uncertain. So, in my opinion, prepping didn't really go mainstream. It just got rebranded. Ron, what do you say to people that think like the whole doomsday prepping industry is like, you know, for lack of a better term, and not to be offensive, a crock of shit?
I don't know who says that. I mean, who says that?
There's a lot of people that say that.
Well, there's also people that hate Jesus Christ and hate Donald Trump, you know?
Since I don't have one in my house, if shit hits the fan, can I come stay with you?
Sure. Yeah. Well, you're just screwed.